My name is Amber Geis, and as long as I can remember, I've been passionate about people. I was in a very dark season in which I lost myself. And I'm here to say, despite what others may say or do or our circumstances, we have the power to overcome and find ourselves again. We all have a story. Let's unveil the mask.
Hi everybody, I'm Amber Geis. Thank you so much for joining us this week, and we hope that last week's episode, if that was you, we hope that you just talk to someone or reach out to someone. Tonight I'm really excited to introduce one of my good friends, Dawn Becker.
Hi everybody.
She's here with me today, and Dawn, I just want to say thank you so much for sitting down with me. I know this can be a little nerve-wracking. It could be like, what the heck am I doing here? But I really just wanted to chat with you because I feel like your story can help so many people because you're so brave and you're so courageous.
Don't make me cry.
That's okay. And I think that people need to hear it.
Yeah.
So, go for it.
So, I am a mother of 4, and I have 2 girls and 2 boys. And my son Carter is the 3rd child in my mix, and my son Carter is autistic. So we are a unique family. Autistic children are unique, and an autistic family dynamic is unique. It's very different, I feel, than what a typical child's family is. Carter was diagnosed 6 years ago when he was 2. And we were just starting our oldest child at preschool, and we just kind of realized some things weren't quite right. Maybe when he was around 14 months old, he used to come running up to us and he'd go, "Hi," and we would say hi, and he would run off, and then all of a sudden one day he just kind of stopped doing that, and was always by himself, or one time he decided to hide in the house and I couldn't find him for 30 minutes when he was almost 2.
Oh my.
I was almost ready to call the police. I mean, every door was locked. Where could the kid be?
Right.
But we just started noticing things like he was withdrawn, and we kept talking with our family doctor, and he said, maybe boys could be speech delayed, what have you. But finally around 2, we said, no, it's something else is definitely going on.
So what were the steps you took at 2? Because I think it's hard to find a diagnosis.
It is hard.
Like, really hard.
It is hard because they go through a lot of psychological testing to diagnose autism. So our doctor did refer us to a neurologist, and then the neurologist referred us to the University California Davis Mind Institute.
Okay, so that's where he was saying, okay,
Yeah.
so the Mind Institute, which is a fabulous resource for parents, really, really amazing. Okay, so then how long? Was that like a few months? Like how long was that process?
I think it was in May that I went to the doctor and I said, I'm done. Something is definitely not lining up correctly. And he got his diagnosis 2 days before his 2nd birthday in July.
Wow.
So just maybe about a 6-week time period.
What happened? Like what, if you can go back to that moment, like what were you thinking? Like you probably had no idea the outcome, so.
I kind of had this sneaking suspicion that it was autism. I do have a cousin that is autistic. She is in her mid to late 20s now, and she is more severe than Carter's case, but there were just some certain things that he was starting to do that I had seen her do growing up, and so I kind of knew. When we went to the Mind Institute, I was not prepared that we would be there for 4.5 hours, but they did a bunch of testing with just my husband, myself, and Carter, and the psychologist in the room. Did a bunch of testing, and then they basically add up these scores. It's a scoring process, and then they gave us the diagnosis that he was autistic. He was diagnosed as high functioning. At the time, I would say he's probably somewhere in the middle. He's not severe, but you could definitely, something is a little different when you meet Carter. He does not talk a lot. He can, but he just doesn't want to. So we basically have to pull it out of him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
or he will like to, we call it one wording. He will like to come up to me and just go, popsicle? And then I'm like, oh no, friend. You have to ask me an entire sentence to get a popsicle.
Right.
But having the diagnosis though, that was a hard moment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Because I think even though you know,
Yeah.
when it's like, this is definitely it, your whole life changes in a moment.
In a moment. Yeah.
Everything changes. So Carter has been in special day class for autistic children since he was 2. When he was 3, he started riding the bus to school, which is also hard to put a 3-year-old child on a bus that doesn't communicate. And now he is in a special day class here in our school district that has other children, I believe, that are on the spectrum, and then some other children that might have other learning disabilities. So he's in the 2nd grade and super smart. I'm scared of how smart he is, but yeah, so he's definitely making progress. He does have therapy every day at home after school, so 3:15 to 6:15, and this is one of the things when I'm talking about not being a typical family. When we are home from school, that's it. We can't go anywhere until 6:15 at night because we have to have an adult there with him to have his therapy, which is, it's imperative that he has his therapy. So my children have adapted. They have learned that when we get home from school, we're not going to Target, we're not going anywhere. If they have extracurricular activities, I've been so blessed that we've had great parents in the community that help me get them to and from so they can do these things. So it's definitely been hard on them too, on the kids. And I think that while it is challenging for my kids to have a special needs brother, I think it's also a blessing because it has taught them so much acceptance. And to accept people as they are, and to be understanding, and to not be judgmental, and to reach out and give somebody help. My oldest daughter is 11, and we were in Target one day, and she saw a little boy that was special needs, and he was just freaking out and melting down on his mom. And she went over and asked her, "How can I help you?" Instead of everybody else that's staring because they may not know how to deal with it. She went over and said, "How can I help you?" So that was a proud mom moment.
Oh, you should be so proud.
That was a proud mom
That's
moment.
like one of those moments like, okay, I'm gonna lose it right here in the store. I'm gonna just cry. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
How do you think these 6 years, I mean, you just like you said, like it changed in a moment.
Yeah.
Everything. There was probably the dawn before all of this.
Yes.
And then the dawn after.
Yes.
I know that's how I feel about my cancer almost.
Yes.
That moment, even though I knew, and in my heart I felt like I knew that diagnosis was coming, but it's different when you hear it.
Yeah.
What has been your biggest challenges through this?
I would say having a special needs child is very challenging on you personally. It is challenging on your relationships. It's challenging on your marriage. We've had some hard, dark times, but we've also had some really great moments as well. I wouldn't go back and change it. I don't have regrets. I think that people that have children with special needs, I think that there needs to be more support for parents individually that are going through this, because when you're in the moment and you're in the mama bear mode and you're trying to take care of your kids and make sure that your child gets everything they need, you stop taking care of yourself. And it's not that you are intentionally doing it, it's just
You don't have time almost.
all your energy.
And something I've really admired about you is you are an advocate. You are like, this is my baby, and you're gonna help him. And I have really admired how strong you are in that sense. You will knock down any wall, any door.
Yeah.
And you know what? And thank goodness, Carter, he has you. Because he has that mama bear that's gonna say, no matter what, I've got your back. And I'm going to be here 24/7. And I think that's why when I started this, when I had this idea, you were one of the first people I thought about, because of you just press on. You press on no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter how dark it is, no matter how weak you are like, I'm still his mom and I'm still going to get through this.
There have been times, I will admit, that I've wanted to just give up. But I won't, because it's not about me, it's about him.
But I think that's where the resources come in, and like just even this little, as silly as this may seem, or this be just like sitting here chatting, it's not silly, because there needs to be other people that says, I'm here for you. And then you now can be like, hey, I'm here for you, I've been through it.
Yeah.
And I think when we are going through something so tough like this, and not a lot of people get it and understand that it's like 24/7 job, you know, it's so different than home life for everybody else.
Right.
And it's probably so like you're just it's on in so many different ways.
Yes.
And exhausting. Like, so the self-care is so important, and taking time for yourself is so important, because if you're not taking time for yourself, then you're so exhausted. How can you give anything else to anybody else?
Exactly. And I think I realize now that it's important to have self-care, and it is so important to get extra support for your marriage. I mean, we've had some rough times where I didn't know if we would make it. And it's interesting, because I read an article one time, and it had a quote in there. I don't know how valid this is, but it cited this information. It said that up to 80% of couples that have a special needs child end up divorcing.
Wow.
And I remember reading that article, and I was like, oh, that'll never happen. That's not us. And then, you know, you just going through this process and constantly having to be hyper alert and aware, and making sure that your child is safe, and making sure that he's getting everything he needs, it just starts wearing you down.
Absolutely. It leaves hardly any time to focus on anything else.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you have to focus on, and this is your priority, and it's really hard to say, hey, let's go on a date night.
Right.
Or let's spend time together. I mean, that just becomes not a priority, because you're so like entrenched in everything else.
Well, and not only that, autistic children can be very difficult and challenging, and we haven't found a real good niche of somebody that we feel comfortable leaving him with, because we never know what he's going to do. So for us, if we want to go do something, we have to beg my mom to come to the house to watch the kids, you know, and so that's been challenging. My husband and I have not been on a vacation together in 11 years, not one night by ourselves, not even Tahoe. We did have plans to go to Tahoe one night, and Carter broke his arm. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We're jinxed.
I think you're overdue, like way overdue.
Yeah. We are hoping now that our children are older and Carter's a little bit older, that maybe we can try to sneak away in the next year or two.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But that happens.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, what is it? If there's someone that you met right now, like watching this, that's going through it, like maybe they just found out, what is your advice to these families, to a new family that just heard this diagnosis?
I think it is so important to reach out to your community, to find resources that your community may have to support you in this journey, because autism is not going to change. It will be with you for the rest of your life. So you are definitely going to want support and people around you that are familiar with it and can point you in directions on where to find different resources, or different types of therapies, or support at school, whatever it may be. I really think that connecting with other families that have children that are in the same boat, that is huge. That's a big thing. And don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of the diagnosis. It's hard at first, but it's going to be okay. It has to be, right? You're going to make it. So, yeah, I just would take care of yourself, support your family, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it, and I thank you for being vulnerable. And if you're watching, if you know of anybody I would say pass this along. I mean, Dawn, I think, has been so brave to share this journey with us and this story. And we all have things in our life that the universe, God, gives us.
Yeah.
That we can't say, I don't want this, but we have it. And so as we have it and we embrace it and we love it, there's a reason for that. And there's gifts in all things. And even in diagnoses that we may not want. Of course, nobody wants different diagnoses, but when we embrace it, we can learn so much. And he's so beautiful and he's such a gift. Just like that story in Target. I mean, what a gift.
Yeah.
He is. And he's taught so many, you know. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I will see you guys next week. And if you have something to share, positive, if you have this new adventure or a journey, whatever it is, I want to chat with you. It's really not like an interview. It's just a conversation. Come chat with me. You guys have a really great week, and I will see you next week.